I'm Maria Menounos, and you're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
What's up, guys? Welcome to the Plot Against America after show. We're in on episode 5. We got the full family in the house today. If in case it's your first time, I'm going to give you a quick introduction to who everyone is. We got a doozy of a show, so we got a lot to get into. First of all, we got Ricky V in the house. Ricky Vitucci, excuse me. You reckon?
There you go, buddy. Yes, you got it.
Yeah, you got to practice it. But he's also Nike sponsored, maybe. I don't know. But Ricky's holding it down for us. We got Cody Epperson down there with the, I guess he reads, what are those? Yeah, the nice books and stuff like that.
Some, theater
I don't
literature.
know why I said that. I'm going to keep
Some
moving
Norton
anyway.
anthologies.
And we got Kitty Kaboom with rock my DC native with the DC hat. Always with the fire opinions. And of course, I'm D'Angelo. We're 5 episodes, which means we're 5 hours into the show. I mean, I think we're pretty invested at this point. I want, before we really get into everything, to first get you guys' general reactions and thoughts to the episode.
I thought it was an amazing episode, to be honest with you. I think that we...
Okay.
All right, Ricky had a little Nike thing to do. We're gonna go ahead and go. Cody, go ahead.
I'm kind of going off what Ricky said. It was a really great episode. It was really intense. One thing I want to talk about later is the time change, the time period in which things are happening. Yeah. But it really showed that so much, and yet so not very much has happened, and it was really breathtaking. It was a good one.
Awesome. Ricky, what were your thoughts?
My thought was great until my mother called me.
Shout out to mom.
She always calls at the wrong times. However, I love your mom. I love the episode. I thought it was awesome. My feeling towards the dad, my predictions towards him has been right. You know, it's something that I've said a million times, and I just wish that he stops being so hard-headed. But besides that, I thought we got to see a lot of things. I thought we got to see a beautiful side of the cousin, like Alvin, and he's similar. I think he's changing. I think he's changing heart a bit with his whole bad boy persona, thanks to the new flirtatious gal at his job.
Katie?
I loved it. Yay for me! Because y'all already know I'm always the voice of that. I don't get it. I don't want to be like that. I don't. I want to be a team player. And finally, I'm so on board. Not just this show, but last week as well. I am fired up. I get it. I read some articles on it. It's not over my head. So now I can appreciate more than just the writing and the direction and the acting and all the stuff that we normally notice because we're in this business. And now I can pay really close attention to the plot. So it didn't have to be bums, guns blazing, or a war scene for me to get it. I just needed some action, Jackson. And now I can see where things are headed and how misguided certain things are. Plus, I promise not to make this a whole sitch about race, but obviously it's not even race, division amongst people. It was just so much easier now that I kind of get it more, because I was like, oh, that's what they do to Black folk. Oh, okay, I get it now. You know what I mean? So it was more relatable, and I totally get that whole, they're at the White House. I'm sorry, I'm going off on a tangent. I'm excited. Go ahead.
No, I love it.
I think she likes it.
I think she likes it as well. I mean, the cool thing is that if you guys are just tuning in, Kitty has been rightfully so hard on the show, and I think with justifiable criticism. So her speaking positively about it is a well-earned job by the show, and I think it makes sense because we're 5 hours into this thing, and this show is really much about character development. At this point, they can just do the plot because we know who the characters are and how they should act. And speaking of one of the characters, I want to give a shout out to my girl, the wife, Elizabeth, because, and we're going to get into the father as well, but I had been for a long time trying to figure out why once she put her foot down, her husband is being ridiculous, he's being stubborn, et cetera, et cetera. Y'all want to be y'all were oh, it's the 40s, she can't do nothing. Finally, at the end of this episode, she's like, you know what? I mean, based on your actions, like I will leave you. I will take the kids. We're gonna ship out. We're gonna go to Canada. We're gonna do what we need to do. How did you guys feel about her finally putting her foot down? Okay, Kitty,
Now she wants to go first.
I know. I'm sorry. No, because I gotta speak. I'm the only woman on this panel. I ain't never say, "Oh, it's the 40s. She don't have." Are you kidding me? Have we met? I am always the one that's like, no. She can speak. Just because she got boobies does not mean that she doesn't have a place or that she isn't able to say what's on her mind and put her foot down. She's just strategic about it, as we know we have to be, because sometimes y'all ain't the quickest. So we have to help y'all along. So she probably was just biding her time to figure out when it was time to get down and funky. But as soon as she said, check this out, you do this and I'll do that. And then we'll see how this goes. So I love it. I'm here for all of it. Just wanted you to know it was about time. I like that she stood her ground. And I love the fact that she is with her husband, but she knows to walk beside him and not behind him in such a way that makes her look like she doesn't have an opinion or that she isn't there for her family. She is super smart, very strategic, and I love her. Go, Bess, go, girl.
Yes, I think that's definitely, it's a very good call that she did make the kind of it's a threat. Like, she threatened her husband, if you continue to do this, if you continue to allow your pride to take over your brain instead of thinking smartly, and you have a wife and you have kids and we have a future together, she can't stay there because it may endanger the family. And the fact that he was trying to go over to the march to hear Walter Winchell speak, it's like I'm gonna just quickly say, for a personal standpoint, those things are never good. If it's a protest, if it's a march like that, like, you're always gonna get somebody that's gonna be over there that's gonna try to start some shit. And I personally would have never went over there, so I don't think he did it. He's a man. He's a husband. He has a job to stay alive and provide for himself and his family. And when he puts himself into danger and allows his pride to take over because this is my country and this is like blah blah, no, stupid. She did the right thing.
I completely agree with all that. I think it was nice because it's been boiling under the surface with her for, I'm gonna say, at least last 3 episodes, if not the entire series. And it was just finally a breaking point. She told him, like, don't go to that, like, you shouldn't go. And he went, and it was a disaster. And similarly with him, he comes home and it's just like, you can see he didn't get out of the car. He knew he messed up. He knew that it was a mistake. And I think maybe I'm reading into it, but I feel like you see on his face, he's like, you're right. And I don't normally take, I'm like really bad note taker, but this is one of like the 2 things I wrote down, was that it was like the literal slap in the face that he needed to like wake up and see what is the situation he's actually in. And I think his wife finally being like, and like putting that on top of him getting punched in the face by some little Nazi boy, that he gets it. I think she really like got to him, and I really think we're gonna see a change in the next episode. I don't think he's gonna have this same mentality of like, they can't beat us, we have to like beat them. And I didn't watch previews today because I was told it was cheating. So
yes,
I don't know if
cheating.
that's the case.
It's cheating, and it's a spoiler. Don't do it. Just go into it blindly. But I just want to touch on something that you just said. So the point when he was in the car and he didn't want to get out of the car, he was embarrassed. I felt like he was embarrassed to get out of the car because he went down to this rally to like stand for this person, and now he's coming home beat up after his wife said don't do it. So he was embarrassed that number 1, he got clocked in the face, and number 2, like he knows he's gonna have to hear her.
Yeah, and it could have been so much worse. It could have been so much worse than just getting hit in the face. Yeah, he could have died. Yeah. And like you said, Ricky, like, he has kids, he has a wife, he has a job. Like, there's more for him to live for than just like his pride of America.
And then also, let's all remember that there's ways to do things, right? Like, again, sorry, this is all I know. So making the comparison with different groups of people, ethnicities or whatever, religious groups. I just think about like the dichotomy of a Malcolm X versus a Martin Luther King, right? Like, do you go to the march and stand your ground because I am an American, I am a man, simply because I'm a Black man does not negate my ability to work just like you, to produce just like you, to be held in equal value and standing. But at the same time, how much do I fight for something that looks like it's my point is that he doesn't want to succumb to one way or another, the other, right? It's like, okay, well, if I give in to them, then I'm this. But if I stand my ground, then I'm that. It's a fine line. You have to pick and choose your battles. And you can't like, basically you're giving up your children. You're basically saying like, all right, I'm just going to give in to the regime because I'm going to stand my ground. So now your kids are dead, but you have your pride. Like you have to decide what makes the most sense and then just pick. And if he's smart, he'll join a group that like knows how to infiltrate from the inside or work it from a different angle, as opposed to just get in their face and be like, yeah, fuck yeah. Because clearly that ain't gonna do nothing but get your dumb ass punched in the face like you got.
Yeah, I think I mean these are great points, and you kind of stole where I was going, Kitty, because there's this line that we're seeing with Herman. Herman is a prideful man, and one could argue that Malcolm X or Martin Luther King were also very prideful men and stubborn and not conforming to what was going on. But their decisions did risk their family, and it did risk their significant other. But it does feel a little different with Herman because it's not like he is trying to stand up for, I guess in some ways he's trying to stand up for all of Jews, but like it feels he's not trying to bring everyone together for a movement. It seems a little
personal.
Like yeah, it seems personal. It seems a little bit micro, like on a smaller like scale. But I think it's interesting. You guys think now that he is going to completely reverse tails and like leave and go to Canada, or like, I mean, I know that's getting into predictions, but I'm surprised you guys think that like he is now softened up. And I mean, I don't feel that way necessarily.
I don't know if I use the word soft, but he definitely sees the error of his ways. You know what I mean? And at the end of the day, like y'all can say whatever you want. People in general, I don't mean y'all necessarily, but people love to throw around the happy wife, happy life. It's a real thing, as I'm sure y'all will learn if you don't already know from your mama or your girlfriend or whatever. But at the end of the day, it's not succumbing necessarily to our whims or like, oh, okay, I'll just do whatever the hell my wife says because I don't want no problems. It's more like, let me actually listen and see what she's talking about and give it a good go. Like, let me give her the opportunity to speak her mind. And if it makes sense, let's meet a compromise or let's agree to disagree, but me still have respect for her. So I don't know that he's softened necessarily. I think he's just finally getting that his way is not the only way. Like, it's not going to go down like that, bro, just because you said it so,
Yeah. I just don't think that these marches or these, and just, okay, so to touch back what you said before about Malcolm X and Martin Luther King, yeah, they not only put their families at stake, but they put their lives at stake as well. I mean, because of it, they got killed and they died. I mean, yes, they did it for a cause, and that's great and all, but I don't know, like for me, I'm never the type to put myself into a dangerous situation. I've never in my eyes and in my experience, and I could be completely wrong, and I'm just speaking about my personal opinion on this, going into those things in a mass public space and knowing the volatility that can potentially be there, and put myself into a dangerous situation for something that I don't even know if it's even going to work, is just, I don't know, like I feel like we create our environments and our future, and when we do something like that, we're knocking on the devil's door, I feel.
Well, yeah, it's weird. I love Herman's character because he's so I don't want to say complicated, but it's like humanity, right? Like he seems to be very aware of what's going on, but he's blinded to an extent. Like for him to not know that the risk that he was putting himself when he went to that rally, like it seems weird. The fact that he even wanted to write a letter to the guy, like I love how his wife kind of was challenging his awareness, quote unquote. And I think that like I don't even have a whole point, but I love how the writers, how they have represented all of the characters in this like very nuanced humanity way. But then, so there's not necessarily outright a bad guy and a good guy. It's like all of these very complicated figures,
For sure.
which I don't think is very easy to do. So shout out to the writers on that.
Yeah.
But I do want to move on to who I guess in this case is the quote unquote bad guy. We're talking about our Rabbi Bingelsdorf, and then his wife Evelyn, who of course got married in this episode officially, and have appeared to go further down into their story and their direction. What I want to ask you guys when it comes to these two is what is driving their decision making, because I asked that because they said that they were moving the family to protect them from the FBI, and then there's this other, and then Rabbi is like trying really hard to make sure that these Jewish people, like the Jewish families, are getting more money and like all these type of things, which are like innately very good things. And maybe they're limited from the big picture. I'm not sure. But what do you think is driving like their decision or their blindness to the parameters of what's going on right now? Kitty, you want to go?
So I don't think he's blind at all. He is well versed in this whole sitch. He's been in this long enough in this, and when I mean this, it means the opposition, it means his religious background, it means his teachings and his exposure. He knows exactly what he's doing. He's very calculating, and he's literally trying to walk the fine line of being in a position of authority and power and still doing the right thing by giving back to Jewish people and helping them out, while at the same time saving his ass. Let's be clear. He is saving his ass. The FBI is pressuring him. So he's throwing anybody that he can under the bus, that it won't look, but he's strategic. He's like, I don't want it to look like I'm actually being the bad guy, but I'm kind of the bad guy here because I have to save my own ass. I'm important. I do shit. I run things. I tell people what to do and blah, blah, blah. And we know what her motivation is. She is so misguided and confused. All she wanted was not to be a spinster. That's really what this all boils down to. This man that gave her a title as his wife, and he's a big deal. And then he gave her a title where she has her own office and she gets to walk around and hand out cookies and papers and be important and make decisions and blah, 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 blah. So as a couple, like they're motivated by the most ridiculous things, but they're both of their goal, as I see it, and I could be wrong, but from the outside looking in, it appears that their goal is just to find a way to promote themselves. They are totally misguided in their attempts to gain notoriety and all that. It's not selfless. It's completely selfish. The fact that she tried to, they're motivated by the wrong things, in my opinion. I think that he's trash, but he knows he maneuvers, right? And I think that the homegirl is sad. She's just sad. She just wants to belong, and she likes nice things. And I get to go to the White House, and she's just so yeah. I don't care for them, either of them, and I think it's pretty sad that their motivation, they're not motivated by like their hearts, that they're allowing their egos to take over.
I agree with you. I'm not a fan of them as a couple either. I feel like Rabbi, his intentions with her is she's on candy. Like she's a trophy wife. So like he's giving her these little things of like, you could have your own office and you can make decisions, but it's not really like decisions. It's just basically, it's like just to keep her there and just to keep her happy and to keep her, thinking like this may sound bad, but has a purpose.
No, you're right. You're right. It's total placation. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
That's absolutely that. And I'm a little bit confused though at the Rabbi as his intentions, because when he went into the meeting with the secretary, he tried to switch the whole
narrative.
Then he tried switching the narrative of the Jews having to leave their job where they currently live and move to like a Montana or like a Kentucky. So I don't know if I think because of the visitor from the wife coming to see him, I think that the wife got in his head And I really do believe that the rabbi is trying to stop that, because I think he was pro this before the wife came. And now that the wife came and there's someone close to the family that's being affected, that he's like, oh crap, like this is real and this shouldn't happen.
That's interesting. So you
that's
don't,
what I saw.
Yeah, no, I feel you. So you don't think, because I feel like I thought his conversation about wanting to get Jews more money was genuine. Like, I think like he is very much, in his own eyes, very much for the Jewish family.
Right.
You think no, he's completely on his own agenda. There's no, and anytime he does say something like that, he's covering for how he really feels.
No.
No.
I think that he genuinely feels like he wants to help. He wants to stop this. I think in the beginning it was pro it because that's what the president wanted and that's what everything wanted. And now he's seeing how all these powerful people are treating him. And now he has someone close to the family coming to him personally and saying, hey, look, like, you can't do this. Like, we can't just up and move. Like, this is our life. Like, he has his job here and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
So now he's actually seeing it firsthand, how it's affecting someone close to him.
Good. Yep.
Yeah, I don't think that it was, again, I think he's pretty strategic, but at the same time, his ego didn't really allow him to see it for what it was until it was put into place. And then he's kind of like trying to backpedal and make it okay and nice. And, you know, your family and your children are always welcome in my home. What about my husband?
You're doing good.
Oh, yeah, me and your husband.
It's very interesting.
We'll talk again.
It's very interesting to hear you. It's almost the same criticisms that we have for Herman. Like, he's driven, there's this blindness, whatever that blindness is, that is preventing him from seeing the full picture. It's very fascinating to think, like, you know, they had this big scene at the table where they were like dissenting, but like maybe these are two guys, and that's kind of the point. These are two guys that are not that far different from one another.
Yeah.
With their pride too. They have
right.
pride.
Total ego-ly driven. I mean, what are you gonna do? You
men.
damn man! Exactly. I'm glad you said it.
I knew it. I was in your head. I knew you wanted to say it. I said it for you.
Cause y'all gotta. You just aren't able to see anything if it involves like your pride. It's just amazing to me. Like, I will not default to or succumb to weakness. I'm a man. And then you get shot in the head and you're like, oh, I'm a dead man. Okay, well, but at least I have my pride. Whatever.
Well, speaking of getting shot, that's a great segue. Alvin, you know, lost a leg or whatever. We are seeing, you know what? I'm still, Alvin, I gotta be real. I'm still trying to understand his significance in the grand scheme of things of this show.
I'm telling you, he's a story mover.
I'll say this. I'm rooting for him. From the grand scheme, but I really want to get into because I think these are very smart writers. He serves a role here, and obviously this book was already written. But where do you see him falling in line? He falling in line with the family. Like, what does he represent in this show for you guys?
Low key,
and then also, sorry, my bad. And then also adding to that question, do you find yourself rooting for him now?
I see low-key anarchy. I just see him as, I did not start by saying I didn't have to be the first. I'm sorry, y'all.
I knew this was gonna happen. I'm sorry.
I'm trying. I mean, it sounded good. I just see him as like a rebel rouser. You know what I mean? He's not going to stand for this, and he's not going to put up with that. And I'm very strongly opinionated about. He's young, you know, and his guidance is not coming from someone that he agrees with. I mean, he'll go toe to toe with his uncle with the facts of what he thinks he knows, and his, you know, uncle will counter fact and back and forth or whatever. But at the end of the day, he's young, he's impressionable. He doesn't just want to be a part of the mainstream, go down with the fight, and he doesn't want to be a sheeple. And so because of his need to pull away from the pack, he makes really bad choices and decisions that impact him in such a way that then have him licking his wounds over in the corner. Like you in the hospital in Canada, you mad at the nurse? What you mad at her for? You did this. Like you chose all this. She's cute. She's trying to talk to you, dumbass. But you mad. You know, like, and then he comes back home. What do you mean I'm fired? I'm mad. How about get it together and pick a, side, and then do your homework, like figure out what your motivation is, as opposed to just being like, oh, I'm 21 and I'm just mad at the world. You know what I mean? Like, get it together. So I don't see him going anywhere. I don't know what purpose he serves either, except that he's like the bear poker. And it's kind of cute to watch him fail miserably again and again.
Right.
Cody, what do you think?
Yeah, Cody, you can go second this time.
It's actually, I think it's a really funny question, because I never really, like, his storyline is still there and still happening, but I never thought really, because I've been rooting for him since episode 1. Like when he first like was in the car with his buddy and they went and beat up people, I was like, come on, dude. Like, I know you have a heart of gold. Why are you being such a dum-dum? But now at this point, now that you're asking this question, I really do not know what his purpose is. I don't see what his role for the show is. And I don't know. And I mean, I agree with you. I think the writers know what they're doing, and he should have some sort of real meaning and purpose in just for plot. But he doesn't symbolize anything for me as someone who's been watching every week. So, and I like him, but yeah, I don't know what he doesn't represent anything.
Yeah, I mean, and to be fair, and Ricky, I'm sure you have thoughts as well, but to be fair, him going to Canada has directly affected the family. And so there's something there, like, obviously, he indirectly plays a large role in, and just the fact that the FBI is even around. But yeah, I'm talking about him as a character. Like, now he's turning a new leaf, quote unquote, who knows? Because I'm actually not sure who the guy, I think the guy might be a mobster, but I'm not sure. The guy that he was, Alvin was talking to, the father of the daughter that he's like kind of into now. So I'm not even sure. I mean, Alvin's obviously very smart and all those type of things. But yeah, I wanted to hear your thoughts on that. And sorry, go ahead, Ricky.
I honestly, I've been saying this since the beginning. I think he's a story mover. I don't think he has real significance, but something is telling me that the writers are going to shock us all, and he's going to do something very profound that's going to literally shock us all. I don't know what that is exactly yet, but as of right now, he's literally just there just to move along the story and just to move it along. And I think he's smart, because the fact that I feel like the fact that, and he's street smart, because the fact that he noticed that the keys were being picked and that the owner is getting, stolen, like the coins from all the machines. I think that was our first sign as viewers, like, this kid isn't an idiot. Like, well, I know you're making that face.
No. Only because from day one, it appeared to me that we were all made aware that he was street smart. You know what I mean? Yeah. That doesn't make him like super smart because he figured out the scrapings didn't come from, and not to discount what you're saying. All I'm saying is, like, he's been smart in the game. You know what I mean? Because he's always been like in the little riffraff. He likes to be on the peripheral or the fray of like bad guy, but not exactly. Like, he's not going to take anybody's life, but he might be one of the guys that jump somebody. You know what I mean? Like, I'll fight you, but I won't necessarily like stick a knife in you type situation.
But we don't know that yet, though. Like, I mean, if you're stupid enough to fight people who are Germans because they're German and you're a Jew and the Germans are coming against, I don't think he is. He's definitely street smart, but in the beginning he was just lacking all sorts of smart, because he was very reckless. He was getting kicked out, and then he was back in. And then he gets into fights, and then he goes into the war, and then he gets his leg blown out because of his pride. Him and his uncle have like the same problem. This whole pride thing about this, like, the freaking, like, I gotta.
He is his uncle's son.
I think he is
he's his uncle's son.
I think he's a fighter, but he's not. I wouldn't say. Well, even the fight, they jumped the German dudes. They were outnumbered and they were intoxicated. when it came to his thing going to the war, he shot a Nazi after he was already dead.
After he was already dead.
Yeah, like he hasn't really proven that he is, about that life.
Yeah, exactly. That's the statement I was looking for. He's not about that life. He likes to perpetrate a fraud. He likes to showboat and push out his chest. He likes to talk about what he knows and what he doesn't know. And yeah, I'm not the first guy to pick this lock here. Oh, I'm so hip to have the funky breakdown. Boy, you don't know nothing about nothing, but you like to pretend that you do. And I was simply using the fight as an example because it just kind of reminds me of people that do that, right? Like a whole lot of braggadocio. Once the police haul everybody off, then they want to be the ones talking about, yeah, you better get out of here before I kick your butt. Like, they was just in your face. You wasn't throwing no blows. You wasn't swinging. Matter of fact, you was at the back of the crowd. But now that it's dispersed and everybody's gone home, yeah, they're lucky they left. I would have kicked their asses. He's not about that life. He just likes to perpetrate a fraud. And I think it's kind of cute, as I said, to watch his demise because he's a mess.
I do think that he's onto something here with the whole, like, because he's showing, like, the fact that he noticed something so small and nobody else that worked in that factory noticed that. And now the fact that he has some sort more of a motivation with his boss's daughter, he has something to quote unquote live for, I guess, because it's not just about him. He's really interested in this girl. I don't know. I think he's gonna make a turn here.
Is he interested in the girl or is he interested in the girl with the girl got?
I don't think he's interested in the girl. What does the girl have? The girl doesn't have anything, but except for
she has a cha-cha, Crazo. What do you think I'm talking about?
Yeah, but I know, but he's obviously attracted to her.
He what?
I said he's obviously attracted to her.
Well, hey,
yeah, look, you gotta be attracted to put your thing in the. Okay.
Kitty and Ricky, I love you guys. Realize what time it was. So, but before we actually head on to predictions, and we're gonna get, I think next week we'll have a Kitty versus Ricky segment.
No, I don't want to fight him.
No fight.
Me and Cody just kind of like looking, like, and I get to like look. You guys are right next to each other. But because we only have a couple minutes, as always, guys, we do our news segment with you guys, and I wanted to toss to Cody so to make sure that we got our updates on that.
Yes. I have an article today from the AV Club. I'm scroll down so I don't remember what it was called. In the penultimatum. Oh my gosh. In the penultimate, the plot against America, everyone's defending their turf is the article. And it's not like a super long article, but I just highlighted a small section of it that I thought was interesting. And it's, though the miniseries and the novel it's based on are both largely works of fiction, Homestead 42 is a highly plausible extrapolation. Oh my gosh. Extrapolation.
We got you.
It's my first day. Is a plausible extrapolation of the views Lindbergh espoused in his own diaries, where he once wrote, "A few Jews add strength and character to a country, but too many create chaos." Yikes. While the characters in the plot against America were worried their new president might copy Hitler and herd them into concentration camps, it seems that instead he's planning to add strength and character to the United States by preparing Jews lightly across, peppering Jews lightly across Montana and Kentucky. And that was, it kind of goes along with a lot of the news that I've been bringing to this show, in that just the plausibility of things that could be if America were to go in a different direction than we have or are. And as we're watching this show, I mean, there's so many similarities between the show, this fictional show, and what we have seen in the past and what we're currently seeing. And just the displacement of people and everyone trying to support, or not, I don't want to say support, defend their own, who they consider their people, regardless of race, gender, sexuality, nationality. It's very interesting because we've been talking a lot about how, and I think about how, because it's mostly about Jews, and then a lot of times they bring in Black people as well in this show. And I feel like we're a pretty open-minded panel where you're like, yeah, like everybody should be everywhere and we're all freaking great. But I mean, what do you guys think? So there's so much about it's because we're not. I mean, I personally, or we're currently. I don't know. I now I feel like I might be putting like 7 feet in my mouth with this topic.
No, I get you.
But I like. I mean, I'm a gay man, and many times in my short life, people have gotten in my face before and called me names, and I've never been like beaten up or anything, but people have gotten in my face before, and so I just know there are times where I know I can be defensive, and I actually, you know what? Let me just hear what you guys think about this topic, because I am now rambling. I don't know how much time we have left, and please let me hear from you.
I love the news article. We only have like about 2 minutes, but I love that.
So yeah,
I love the point that you brought out, and it's something that is kind of lost here. Is that I think because we all grew up in America, like the idea of them doing what they're doing, it doesn't seem that outlandish. It's crazy if you objectively think about it, but it is so ingrained in American history for them to do things like that, but then put it into a bow that sounds patriotic or whatever, but at the end of the day, it's racist. And you could think about things like, I mean, redlining when it comes to African American community. You could think about the concentration camps they did. The list goes on and on. So I guess the sad part is that it doesn't even stand out because it is something that is so innately American.
I concur. I'm not going to talk y'all to death, but I have way too many stories. I mean, how much time do we have? Like, I can't get it. I've been told to go back to Africa. Yeah, I've been the N-word. I've been, you can only imagine. So your skin gets tougher or you succumb to the bullshit. I'm not a succumber, if that's a word. So that's not going to happen for me. Ever. But I do agree with you. And I just think that unfortunately that is who we are as Americans. We're not blatant about it anymore. It isn't like you walk outside your door and somebody just smacks you in the face and goes, "You're a nigger, get it, move it away, you move it along." They'll just do passive aggressive stuff that just is like, oh, okay, like I don't know what's happening right now. Whatever you say. Anyway, I really want to, just before we leave real quick, can I just say that my heart was breaking for the baby boy. What's his name?
I love him. He's adorable.
Yeah.
Yes,
he's having a hard time.
He's having a hard time because nobody's giving him any insight. He doesn't have anybody to pull him aside and talk to him for real. Like his mother tried for a hot second to kind of make sense of it all. But I mean, think about how hard that must be. He don't even really like that kid. He thinks he's annoying. He always wants to play chess. But now he's got him sent off to like Siberia. He feels horrible. And,
I think he does like him.
In his mind,
he does
Siberia,
like him. I think he does like him because the fact that he ran upstairs and gave the kid his stamp
feels guilty, baby. That's why I gave him.
I don't know.
He was guilty because he's the reason that he's
leaving. Yeah, it's because of him that he's being dragged off. I don't think he dislikes him. He doesn't hate him or anything. He's just not his cup of tea. You know what I mean? He's a little nerd boy, and the other guy doesn't think he's a nerd boy.
I think that kid is adorable. I think the nerd kid. I think he's so freaking cute.
No. I'm saying the neighbor. The neighbor was the nerd boy. That's what you're talking about? Oh, okay. Yeah. He is adorable, but that doesn't, unfortunately, being adorable doesn't really cut it when you're a kid that, another. Anyway, I think, and I could be wrong, his motivation for giving away, and that's what I just read in an article, giving away the stamp collection was almost like, I can't tell you why I'm giving you this, but you deserve it more than I do because I kind of got you shipped off. So my bad, here you go,
That's fire. So, all right. So we got a couple minutes. We got seconds actually. So real quick, go around, do your predictions. Kitty, you go first.
Kitty.
I'm so sorry. I'm such a big mouth.
Predictions.
Yeah. Okay, so my predictions for next week are that I'm going to enjoy this even more. I can say that with with lots of conviction because I'm into it now. I can also, I'd like to predict that I think that Winona Ryder and her husband are going to finally be faced with something where they have to make a choice that puts them with either us or them, as opposed to this fine line that they're trying to walk and be slick about everything and like have all these hidden agendas that they think they can like nobody notices. They're finally going to be forced to be like, listen, are you down or no? So that's what I see happening. I don't know.
I think the husband is way too deep in his head and in his pride, and he continues his mental onslaught on himself, and that the wife and kids move to Canada without him.
I think they're gonna move to Canada as well. I do think that husband's gonna go with them. I do agree with you, Kitty, as well. I think that the rabbi and Evelyn, I don't know what, it's not gonna be good. I think I kind of what you guys just said is that I think they're in too deep already. I think they're starting to see, or at least the rabbi's starting to see the cracks in the facade, and I think that him and Evelyn are in too deep, and something bad's gonna happen. I don't think this show is gonna end on a happy note. So our next episode, I honestly think the point of this miniseries is to show us what could happen if we are not careful, and I think we're gonna see what could happen if we're not careful.
We're living in a mirror, baby. It's already showing us what is happening.
Yeah. I think to close out, somebody's gotta die. I'm just putting that out there. It's either Alvin or the rabbi. I'm going with Alvin. But I do think that, I mean, we got a couple more episodes. I do think it's going to end on a happy note. I don't know how, but somewhere.
I think we'll be satisfied, but I don't think it's going to be blissful.
Fair. Okay, so I hope you guys enjoyed our review of episode 5 entitled Part 5. I don't think we had any, no, we had parental discussions. So tune in next week as we'll continue our continued trend of talking about proper parenting in the 40s. But in the meantime, we're going to sign out. Kitty, you want to let them know where they can find you on social media?
So on Twitter, I just started my Twitter game back up. I'm pretty excited. I'm barring with people all morning. It's Kitty Meow, KITTIEMEEEYOW. Anyway, and you'll figure it out. Kitty Meow. And IG, Kitty Kaboom, KITTIEKABOOM.
And you can find me at Ricky Vitucci on all social media platforms.
I am Cody Epp on Instagram, CODYYE. Oh my gosh, what is my Instagram handle? CODYYEPP. And then this is why my Twitter handle is Cody_Epp.
And Angelo Friday or D'Angelo Platt Friday today. You can hit me up on Twitter at D'Angelo TV or Instagram at D'Angelo. Hopefully we'll see you guys next week at 3:00 on Tuesday for part 6 of Plot Against America. See you guys later. Deuces.
Bye.
Our founder, Keven Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.